Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be installing Injector Dynamic's 1000cc injectors and a VMP fuel pump booster.
Perfect.
New to the channel, this is my 2016 Mustang GT. It is pro-charged with the P1X Pro Charger. I have a smaller pulley, it's pushing around 14 pounds. I am still on the injectors that I got with the Pro Charger kit. I believe they're either 52 or 59 pound injectors. I'm going to be going on E85 here in a few days, so I'm going to upgrade the injectors and add that fuel pump booster, and we'll see what kind of power that thing makes. I'll make a video here in a few days once I get on E85, and we'll see what it does in the dyno. Alright. So here are the injectors that I bought. Now, some of you may not know, but I am trying to do this a little bit on a budget. These injectors are like $1,000. So I picked them up for half that, and they are used. They're off of a guy's car. He had a 2015, and he had a Vortex supercharger on it. He was putting it back to stock. I guess he's going to sell the car. He's going to get something else. And so these, if you notice, these bottom three here are missing the O-rings on the very bottom there. So what I'm going to do is I got my original injectors here, that, you know, the stock injectors, and I'm just going to pull off the lower O-ring off of these and put them on these five here. I am going to clean these up a bit. Got a little plastic tub here and some carb cleaner, and I'm going to give them a good cleaning. So I'm just going to put them all. Well, I don't know if I should. Yeah, I guess I can. I'm just going to put them all in the tub here and give them a good dousing of some carb cleaner. I was going to use brake cleaner. I thought, nah, maybe not. Probably shouldn't use brake cleaner. Just use good old carburetor cleaner here. I did notice, like, around the bottom O-rings, they got a little bit of gunk build up. Soak for a minute, give them a good wipe down. Okay, so I'm just going to pry these O-rings off the stock injectors. Pop them onto the top of these IDs. I checked the tops, and the O-rings looks like they should be exactly the same. I mean, the width is the same here, so the inner diameter is the same. They look the same, so I should be okay. So there's the one that came on the ID injector, and there's the stock O-ring. It's a different color, but as far as I can tell, everything's the same. So just transfer over these last three here. Just using the screwdriver to get it started to pop off. I don't want to gouge it or anything like that. I don't want any fuel leaks. So, last one. I didn't video it, but I took the carb cleaner and sprayed them individually really good and blew them out with the air hose. That's the last one. So these guys are ready to go in. They're all nice and clean. I believe these have a replaceable filter inside here, but the guy who sold them to me, they only had 12,000 miles on them, so they're fairly new, you know. So I guess what we'll do now is we'll go to the car, start taking apart the fuel rail. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take off this strut tower brace. Some of you may not even have that, but I gotta take mine off. Next, you gotta take off these little plastic brackets on top. Just gonna use their 10. Need a deep socket for it. Just loosen up and it should just kind of spin right off. Side. These heater hoses can be moved around. They're flexible enough to get the fuel rail around it. Just pop them off, move them over. Those brackets off. Take off these foam covers. They are right and left. They're marked right and left, and then with an arrow showing which side goes forward. This side, same thing. Just pop right up. Pull the insulator out of there. Okay. And then you can disconnect your fuel line. Now, I've heard some people say, oh, you need to disconnect your fuel pump because you got fuel pressure there and it's, you know, whatever. I'm just going to put some rags underneath it, wrap it up, and I'm going to pop this blue clip up with the screwdriver. All right, we're doing this live. Let's see what happens. Got some rags underneath there, got a couple for the top. I'm going to pry up on this clip. Let's see if I can get it. Oh, you didn't even need the screwdriver, just pinch on the bottom and push up. So now, I'm going to put the rags over it while I'm pulling it apart because I know it's probably going to spray a little bit. Okay. There it goes. That was nothing. Look at that. That was nothing at all. Just put one of the rags over the end of this line just to catch any drips. Set it over here for now. There. Nope. Might want to keep it a little bit higher because fuel wants to just drain right out of it if you put it low. Okay. So now you need an extension. You have a deep socket, or maybe not even a deep socket, just an extension. There's a bolt here, bolt here, bolt here, bolt here. So it's they're not, you don't need a deep socket, but that's all I have right now. A little extension probably would help though. Except for it's the wrong size. So let's see. We can do it without it. Let's see here. Oh yeah. Easy enough. And these are 10s also. Ooh, that 91 pump gas stinks. I'm going to loosen these up, take the bolts out. That way I can lift the rail a little bit to reach the plugs on the injectors a little bit easier. Oh shit. Well, that wasn't good. Big old spray of fuel came out of there, probably when it released pressure on the fuel rail. Oops. I don't know if I caught that on film, but shot out a nice spray of fuel here. Stinky stuff. Do it. There's that one. There's that one. Now the O-rings on the fuel rail, they're kind of pressed in there, so you have the. Let's see here. Kind of lift up on it. There goes a bunch of fuel. So that's probably what they meant in the other videos that I've seen. Let's pop this up. See if it pops. There we go. So it's free. Still got the plugs on it though. Plug all these. It should come off pretty easy. Just squeeze the clip, do a little pull. That's that side. Losing my glove. You don't have to worry about losing place or which plug goes where, because when they come out of the side of the harness right in front of the injector that they belong to. So. Okay. So it is completely free now. I'm going to attempt to get it out of here. Pull this back over here. Push that over. Just kind of wiggle it out of here. go. There's the fuel rail. So these injectors, if you look, they're kind of offset. One goes this direction, this side goes this direction as far as the plug orientation. All right, let's get it to the table here and take these out. So I've learned a little trick. I don't know if this is accurate or not, but supposedly you can pull these injectors without having to pull these clips. So what you do is, I guess you're just supposed to turn these. I'm going to try going counterclockwise. Let's see what happens. Yep, turned. Go one more turn. That didn't work very well. Well, made it easy to get the clip off. And you want to orientate these the same way. They're pressed in it pretty good. They're in there pretty good. That O-ring came off with it. So the ID injectors, they do not have a clip, supposedly. I don't see why not. I'm still going to put them in. Let's see. So this clip goes around. Oh, duh. That's why. Don't put them upside down. So yeah, these don't take a clip. They just seat down in there. Just want to get them kind of in the same position. Trying to see where the groove would be. Can see here? Oh yeah. So if you see, these ones have a groove on the side, and that's where the clip slips through. Hopefully you can see this in the video. But the IDs don't. You know, they do get bolted down, so it sandwiches them in there, but it's just as easy to take these clips off than twist them out. I don't know why people are saying you got to twist them out. But all these O-rings are pretty tight in there, which is good, I guess. Slip those in later. Thought I felt some grittiness down in there. Okay, get the other side here. Okay, that's it. So the injectors are installed. So now I just reverse the process. Really not that hard. Try to get this thing wiggled back down in there. So I have to be a little careful now because these injectors don't have the little clips holding them on, so you want to put it down ever so gently as not to dislodge the seating of the O-ring. Side pretty lined up. Let's see, get this. Almost got those seated. Injector plugs tend to get into the way just a little bit, but kind of caught up on the injector here. Oh, that's what I didn't want to do. Son of a bitch. Just dumped all kinds of fuel out of the fuel rail, so that's okay because I'm going to bolt this thing down. And then we're going to move on to the VMP fuel pump booster, and that'll give time for this fuel to evaporate. But I got that side seated. I don't know if you saw it. You just, once you're in the holes, it's a little push down, and they kind of just pop into place. So. That's good. I'm going to go ahead and plug these in. Now, so I have the room to do it, I'll just clip right in. The other side. So the orientation of the actual injectors, how I put them in the rail, is just to help line them up to the plugs better. You know, makes it easier to plug them in. Okay, those are plugged in. Now we can drop the bolts into place. There, and there. There, and right. Let's get those tightened down. Start it by hand, just a lot quicker. So I didn't look up to see if there's any torque specs for the fuel rail, but I mean, you just want it to be snug. You don't want those injectors lifting up on you at all. There's a fuel leak. That feels good. So now, put these guys back on. Like so. I think I might have to go back and take that bracket off because that foam's supposed to go underneath it first. Yep, it is. So just pay attention how you take things off. That way you don't have to redo it like I'm about to have to do, but whatever. No big deal. It's back. Try not to drop your nuts on top of your motor. Come off. This is going to move back. This one's kind of tight in the back here because of this hose. There we go. Sweet. Let's drop that sucker again. Last but not least, fuel line. Just make sure it's all nice and snug. Clip that sucker down. This goes here. Oh, did it backwards, of course. Okay, I stopped the video. I didn't know if you guys caught that or not, but I had to do this a third time. I had this plastic bracket. I had this plastic bracket backwards. It's supposed to hold this, it's not supposed to be over there. So, all right, so I'm gonna grab the keys, just turn the ignition on, build fuel pressure, see if there's any leaks. Let's see. Everything looks good. I don't see any leaks. I got fuel pressure. So next, we'll move on to the VMP fuel pump booster. Okay, so for our next item, we have the VMP fuel pump booster, and this is the plug and play version. It piggybacks into the fuel pump wire harness and just gets a ground. I do have a tune that my tuner gave to me already. It's downloaded onto my SCT scanner, and this particular model, the S550 Mustang, this mounts underneath the back seat. And they supply some stick-on Velcro, so you can Velcro it to the inside of the side trim panel in there. For the S550 Mustang, you don't need to put a bigger fuse. It already has a bigger fuse. This one came with one in case you were putting it on an earlier model. Yeah, I'm going to go get this installed, and it's kind of cramped in the car. I don't know how much video I'm going to get, but I got to pull that back seat out and see what we'll work with. Okay, I've got my back seat out, and that's the connector. We're going to be disconnecting right there. Sorry, the lighting's kind of bad, but this connector here is going to end up plugging in where this one is, right here, and then this one here is going to plug into the end of this here, and that's pretty much it. I might have to make a modification to the actual plug itself, it looks like, just because of has a different ear. These little notches on the side I think are slightly different on here, so I might have to notch off the part it plugs into. But I'm going to take it apart real quick, see if I can get it unplugged with one hand while I'm filming. There it goes. So let's compare this plug to the other one. Let's see here. Yeah, they're like offset a little bit different. I don't know if you can see that. They're like opposite. So I think I'm going to have to, like it said in the directions, I believe there's this little ear. It's kind of hard to see. But this little ear right here, I'm going to take a razor blade and shave that down so that this plug will actually fit on there. Because right now, yeah, it won't go on. So, all right, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to film that. It's going to be too hard to do, but I'll get that done. I'll be back when I have that shaved off. Well, I hope you guys can see this, but so this is what I'm doing. I got some vice grips with the razor blade, and you just need to take off this top little edge here, and I got most of it off. I'm just getting the rest here. So I just shaved that off a little bit. I know the lighting's not that great, but so I don't know if I got enough off, but shave just a little bit more. And all because I think VMP screwed up in their production and put this plug, they put it upside down. All they had to do was flip the housing around and it would be fine, but let's see if this thing plugs in now. No, not quite. Close, but no cigar. It definitely does not go the other way. I've even looked at the wires here to make sure they lined up correctly with plugging it in this way. And they do, so I just gotta shave a little bit more off here, I guess. Trying not to get the next notch right below it. It feels like I got it all pretty much, but could be wrong. Feels like it. You know what, I think even these side notches would be off a little bit unless they're dead center. But just still not quite going on. Almost. Not quite. All right. I'm going to work on this a little bit more. Guys, looks like I got it. So on the side right here, I thought it was just a solid lip, but it was a double lip, so I was only getting the top piece. Now this plugs in just like that, so it's in. So VMP says to tuck the box up behind here. I feel a piece of foam in there, so I'm gonna have to see how well that's gonna tuck in there. Maybe I can get it like right down here in the bottom somewhere. But I'm going to look at that real quick and I'll be back. Okay, so there is another ear that needs to be shaved off right here, this big one right here, because for some reason they did the same thing with this plug, so they're offset so that this ear is on the wrong side, or this notch is on the wrong side for this plug. So I got to shave that one off too. And then you know what? Instead of pulling this trim panel right here and getting into there and taking that all apart, you know, this is race car, you know, so I'm just gonna mount this sucker right here on the front of the seats, right behind the driver's seat, and run the wires just coming out of the seat from underneath, and everything will plug in right there where it should. I gotta put the ground right here on this nut and plug it all in. So I'm gonna do that real quick after I shave off that stupid notch. Okay, I got everything plugged in. Shaved off that notch on this one. Was able to get it in there. There's a little piggyback plug that goes from the little piggyback harness to the VMP fuel pump booster, and it runs to here. It has a fusible link right here, and so I'm just gonna do it just like that. Tuck everything in right there, so it's out of the way of the actual seat, and just leave that guy hanging out right there, and that should work just fine. So I'm going to throw the seat back in, we're going to download the tune and start it up. Okay, so we're going to program the vehicle now. Let's see here. Okay, keys on. So we're going to go with the Dyno Edge Injector Dynamic 1000 VMP. So that's something we're going to select. So this may take a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and stop the video right now and wait for this to download, and then we'll be back when we start it up. Okay, so the tune downloaded successfully. I'm going to set you guys up back here for a little cold start. Let's see what she does. Got to get some fuel up to those rails. Cold start for you guys.